Okay, people, I'm in my sewing room. As you can see, I'm trying to get motivated here. Right? I like things clean. As you can see, like, even though my house gets scattered and everything, I sit and I blow out the dust, for crying out loud. I'm wiping down things all the time, right? This very dusty house I live in. Okay, I'm trying to rise above the situation here. This is what I'm trying to do. See some of this fabric here? Okay, I've featured it before. Some of it's going to, I think it's LA. I promised somebody out there that when I get a shipment ready to go, I'm going to ship them out 10. And then I need some for slanging on the streets, people. Serious, because if I get out there and I start begging, I want to bring something with me. So I figure some do-rags. So I'm trying to rise above it, people. Okay, seriously, I am so stressed out. I am not feeling well. It's 10 o'clock at night. And as hard as I'm trying, this table is not very big, as you can see. I'm used to another leaf in this table. So that brings this table out by another almost a foot. And I like to walk around the table. And I like to have 3 of those in a row. Seriously, that's how I like to sew. So I find this to be very oppressive. Because it's too small, right? So anyway, I'm gonna upload this now. Yeah, so anyway, before I upload that, I forgot to say, I'm moping around, right? I'm doing as much as I can every day, right? And I'm not feeling well, people. I don't know. I think it has something to do with this eye drops too, right? Because it's a chemical. It gets up into your nasal passage and everything, right? Because my body aches. Never used to ache, right? And I've been using this stuff for about 3 months now. Because I'm coming up to a 3-month checkup, so almost 4 months I've been using this medication. And I've never used medication like this. So this is all this. And then so anyway, what I wanted to say is, as I'm working on the nonprofit books, I think I'm going to ask our board director to invite someone else to become a board director that wants to become a signing board director that has experience, right, in these business matters that can get complicated, right, as you move along. Like in terms of a registered charity, I'll just give you an example. Hold on. Am I okay in the screen? A little far back. I'm a little closer. There we go. The difference between, and this is for Canada, I don't know about the United States. I don't know that if a nonprofit in the United States gets an approval to become a nonprofit, it automatically becomes a charity in the United States, which gives it federal jurisdiction in terms of the rules on a federal level as to how a charity should operate. Not a nonprofit, but a charity. Because in Canada, you have your provinces and your territories, and within each state, territory, or province, I don't know about the states for sure, but out here, you register your nonprofit. And then at some point, you make your application to the federal government to take that nonprofit and turn it into a charity. But as soon as you turn it into a charity on a federal level, the rules change. And because there's trust accounts connected to the foundation that I work on, if the nonprofit was to become a charity today under federal law, right? 80% within those trust accounts, because there's more than one, would have to be spent within a year to follow the guidelines within federal law when it comes to charities. Unless, of course, you want to put in some kind of application to have that money sit there for 5 years. You can do that, but you have to fill out the right kind of paperwork. And it doesn't make sense to spend all that money and time and energy on paperwork for $89 sitting in an account, because the numbers are low in what I do, for various reasons. I mean, it's odd enough doing what I do as it is. Like I say, my world is, I live a stupid life. Like, on one hand, I work on a nonprofit that could represent great change under the right circumstances, right? But then on the other hand, I struggle with my own life for various reasons. A lot of them are unjust causes, and you just watch me cope with that, right? So my coping mechanism, in order to rise above, even though I'm not feeling very well, like seriously, I don't know how it's going to be this summer out in the yard. Like, my strength is out the window. I did something the other day. I don't know what it was. I was moving something. What was I moving? I was moving something, and I had to pull and struggle, and my arms hurt. But that's the nice thing about spring and summer. I tend to buff up a little bit, right? For the first week, couple weeks or whatever, I'm like, ugh. But I usually bounce back, but not like I used to, right? So besides that point. So we know I'm trying to get into the sewing room as I'm working on the books. Like, at some point, I'm going to probably get in there. And I don't have a lot of energy to do very much, so I'll probably just sit there, pick something out, and think about it, right? You know, maybe dust a few things off, right? You know, I'm getting ready, right? And I do want to make the do-rags, and, you know, I got to make Andre some clothes, and just stuff like that, right? It would be nice to make some do-rags and, you know, make a couple $100. I can make stripper costumes, but, you know, you gotta have, you gotta have that system, right? You gotta, you know, it's like a catwalk, right? You know, if you want to kind of like get good at it, if you want to get good at it, right? You have to have the dressmaking forms and the ability to rock around, or at least one half of the table, right? And you need a long table where you can just kind of roll out 3 or 4 meters and still have meters at the end of the table as you're cutting, right? That's what I like to do. So I get you know, I get frustrated. Because first of all, I'm going in there tired, you know, 9 times out of 10. And I'm under pressure because, you know, I'm trying to hold down this house, right? And, you know, reassure my kids that, yeah, the lights will be on tomorrow, kind of thing. Like, whatever. Just be grateful there's food in the house. I remind them of that all the time. But sometimes I don't think they appreciate it. So, to rise above, right? The next step would be to invite our new board director to invite another person that he knows that's capable of assisting him with the management of the books. In the event of, through our new board director's business endeavors, right? You know, or following up on some of the things that I started but wasn't capable to finish, like the pet program, for example. I still have a collection box sitting up at the Delta Animal Hospital in Delta. It's been sitting there for almost 2 years. Under the desk. The last time I went in was with Mr. Lace. I said, "You want me to take it?" He said, "No." I said, "Okay, I'll come back with flyers." And whose fault is that? It's mine. I never came back with flyers. I have the key. The box is there. Right? So hopefully that might just, you never know, that might spark up. That's just one example of, like, they're like called pet projects kind of thing, right? Little things that are out there but not fully out there yet. Because I'm not business person, right? So when it comes to costumes and stuff like that, like my energy level is 0. So, and so to say that, oh yeah, I'll just go sew, for a month, right? And whip up 10 stripper outfits. Just using that as an example. Back in the day, I could have done that. I could have done 10 in a week, right? But I can't. I can't even do one. Never mind find the pattern. And that's another thing. All my patterns are buried, as if I can start pulling them out in that room, right? So, there's only so much I can do there. But in terms of the nonprofit, I think it would be better for our new board director to have somebody more in line with his ability, if that makes sense. And because I'm not well, I don't want to put pressure on him to, you have, before you can do anything, you have to come to me to sign it, right? Because we have the new board director that's going to be treasurer for sure. I'm hoping he'll take on the secretarial part of things, like, filling out the paperwork for the registers of companies when it's due. And then fill out the check. And then take it to the signing director kind of thing, right? That type of stuff. And that person can have signing authority too, so that they don't have to contact me. Because what happens if I get sick, people? And seriously, we know what happened to Uncle John. He's still a signing board director. That has not changed. I had the registers of company in Victoria correct the mistakes that somebody innocently made in their office because John's name and Joan's name and addresses were similar. Joan Duncan, John Duncan. Both lived at the same address, only John got removed and Joan remained, even though Joan's been dead for 2 years. But they sent me something through email to show that on their records that's been corrected. So John is still on the board of directors. And because we didn't have an annual general meeting, and I just haven't had the stamina to call one, seriously, I'm worn out. And I'm working on, I was at my other computer working on nonprofit books today, and I wrote a really nice letter in regards to the trust accounts. Now we're moving into that la-la land. Like, is this lady serious? Like, why would people do stuff like this? Where's those, here we go. Where is it? Like, I always tell myself, well, of course I can't find them now, right? I always tell myself, this means something. Oh. I don't know. I can't seem to find them. I tell myself, these bank statements, they gotta mean something. Like, 21 bank statements later, and I'm still getting them in the mail every month. Like, I wrote HSBC Bank today. Asking to reactivate 3 of them. The rest can stay dormant. 12 are already active. I don't know what number that is, but anyway, no, so, but like, yeah, seriously, what happens if, because the coma, see, the doctor that deals with this now, she's a specialist in coma. And apparently she can't understand why. This is what she tells me, right? I don't know why I'm sitting here talking now, but besides the point, this camera kicks out too after 28 minutes. But she doesn't understand how many minutes I'm left on this camera. I don't know. The battery's flashing. Hold on a minute. Okay, well, anyway, I'm in trouble now. The only one that I can really do in terms of glasses, the only pair of glasses that I can actually do any kind of paper, like accounting, book work, and even sewing. And even the sewing, it's like riding a bike. I know how to sew though, so therefore, it's not like I'm having to. In other words, I can sew a straight line almost without looking, right? Because I've done it so many times in the past. Because it's like riding a bike. You get on the bike, you know, you never forget, right? And not because my eyes are doing it, it's because I'm doing it. Well, anyway, as I was just fooling around with the camera here, these things, I had them on, right? And because they fall off my head when I go like that, the lens fell out. It's not the first time, but I can't seem to get this one back in, so hopefully I'll be able to get it back in. So not only do they fall off my head, but the lens falls out too, right? And this is about the only one pair in the house that actually I can do numbers with, because I have to change these things around all the time, right? Some things I need more stronger magnification, other things I don't. But as I was saying prior to, the glaucoma specialist doesn't understand why, for having this illness for so long, and with the pressure oftentimes being extremely high, to the point where they say I gotta go to emergency, right? Doesn't destroy this vision, I guess, right? This, when you know you can see this way, your eyes can dart around and stuff. It's when it starts to go like this, that's where it starts to be a problem, right? And I don't get like splitting headaches very often, and I don't get a lot of nausea unless I drink a lot of tea and coffee and sugar, and then I might bring on a bit of nausea, right? If I have like 4 or 5 cups later between them, which I have done, right? Because it keeps you going, eh? You know, it's all about keeping you going, you know? So, but I'm not going that much these days, people. You know, I'm just not. So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, well, you know, rise above it. And the best way to rise above the nonprofit and what's holding it back, and I'm holding it back. It's taking too long to fill out the paperwork that's required through the various agencies that makes the difference between a nonprofit and a charity. Because this nonprofit needs to go into a charity. It just hasn't gotten there yet. It needs qualified people to manage it before it gets there. So, you know, I'm comfortable with what I've done in terms of set up books, you know, did the best that I could, but it's almost like I'm gathering things up to put a big bow on it and just, here's a present. You know, treat it kindly. You know, it's fragile, right? Debating what, you know, like I have 2 sets of books, right? You've seen the one set, and in past videos you've seen the other set, but you've seen these ones, right? Where is it? You've seen those ones. You've seen the income statement just recently, right, which I worked on a little bit today. And you've seen before the other second, Andre, please, second set of ledgers, right? And so I'm having to gather and get it all ready, because I discovered today, not that I discovered it, but some of my other ledgers that I need to post onto my income statement are actually with the second set of ledgers. So I have to take those out and put them in with this set. That's the complete set. And then I'm debating whether I should let him have the original first set, right? But I think he should look at it, because he may get some ideas, and it might be easier for him to set up that system with whoever he's going to work with, right? In the event of that there's a shift here, okay? because you won't be dealing with me anymore, right? So I'm going to see if that can happen. I'm going to see if we can invite a new board director on with the ability to take more financial responsibility, because I don't like, I wrote, here's an example. Here's the perfect example. I wrote HSBC Bank today. I don't know what the response will be, but I wrote them today with a lady that I've worked with in the past in regards to reactivating the trust accounts that went dormant because of my inability to keep up with the banking system's criteria in terms of deposits and withdrawals in a timely manner. And that's what shut them down twice. Right? First in 2012. And I got fined through the bank with a fee, right? $25. The fine itself out of 6 accounts was $125 and another $9.11 with the Malcolm X Learning Trust account. And I ended up getting the majority of them reactivated. And then at the same time, I think that's when the new ones came in. So all of a sudden I had like 21 bank statements coming to my house starting 2012. Minus one that was dormant. And that was the Malcolm X Learning. And then of course things went on and blah 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 and blah. And then for some reason, I think something happened again, yeah, in 2014. I missed that deposit date, right? And so some of those accounts got shut down again. So now I have to reactivate 086 with HSBC, 084 with HSBC, and 906. And the ones that are already active can stay active, and the ones that are dormant, which are provincial ones, right? And I think one floater can stay inactive at this point until our new board director can get a handle on what he's going to do in order to promote universal school meal program, social development programs, and all that other stuff, because that's what charities do. So I wrote her a letter, and I said, by the way, because we've already had conversation in the past to reactivate, right? So she knows me. And she knows I also wanted to reactivate the Malcolm X Learning one when the other ones were reactivated. But because I'm only doing $1 every 4 months into each account, or $2 or whatever it is, take out $1, put in $1, within a 6-month period, just to keep them active, just to keep them alive, because it's all in, I sell you a dream, people, right? Then it keeps the bank happy in terms of the system, and it just secured that opportunity, right, with the right circumstances for somebody else to have that chance. And I explained to her that I'm working on the books, because when I pass him over, I want it to be fresh. He gets a fresh start. And hopefully these issues that I'm in email with you, we won't have to deal with them. Like it will never happen again, because he'll make sure it doesn't happen. And if he has somebody helping him, then that's better, right? That's better for him, better for me, and better for the foundation. And that's why I'm talking to you, because, again, Liberty, if you're watching this, these are the things that I work on behind the scenes, right? And yeah, I'm not on like every day at it, but I'm at it, right? And so I asked her anyway that since in 2012 I did a deposit into those 6 accounts, okay? on April 27th, 2012 of $8 to prevent those accounts from going dormant. I had the right forms. I submitted them at the bank after they were signed by 2 signing authorities. And in those days, Uncle John was around, so it was easy for me to say, John, this needs to be signed, sign it, and then go do the business affairs around the nonprofit, right? So because Riley, Uncle Riley, Papa Riley, right? He's always busy, 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 busy. So it's really, really hard to catch up to him. And like I'm actually been waiting for a couple of months for him to pop in for 5 minutes just so that he can sign the check that goes to the registers of companies in Victoria and the request to open up those 3, to reactivate those 3 trust accounts that I need in order to, when I hand over the books, they're active because I have to put $40 into the British Columbia one. That's 906. $40 is $40, right? So that has to be done, and that requires 2 signatures. So the only person that can do that right now at this point is Riley. And when we sign on the new board director, okay, because this is some, this is serious stuff here, people, right? We all have to meet at the bank, all of us, including Papa Riley. Stupid cats. Right? And busy, 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 busy. So I don't know how we're going to connect that dot, but everybody has to meet at the bank. So if we're all going to meet at the bank, and maybe it's a good thing that I didn't call an annual general meeting yet, because, that was that pressure to do it by the end of December of 2015. And then if I found out that, they've kind of eased up on that rule, right? I just have to pay the dues for that year and to put no annual general meeting. So I'm just waiting now for the signature from Riley for the check and for the the form itself. It's around here somewhere, right? And that letter for HSBC to reactivate those 3 trust accounts. So that's actually three forms that I need Riley to sign right now because John's not here. Whereas in the past, Uncle John would be here, and there wasn't that pressure on Riley to have to be, at the doorstep every time something needed to be signed. Well, that's why I'm thinking, I think I should invite our new board director to invite somebody else to participate in his endeavors to take on the books and do a good job, right? It would just make more sense where he doesn't have to try and track me down. Because seriously, people, my glaucoma specialist does not understand why I can still see, considering the circumstances with my eyes. The only thing is, because I've had the glaucoma for so long, and I don't respond well to treatment. I think, I don't want to say, it's easy for me to get on that bandwagon. I hate the healthcare system. Everybody's out to get me, right? It's that's we already know. But besides that point, I think a lot of it has to do with the medication. I think the stress level in my life has just been ongoing for too long. It's been too long. Stress is stress, but it's when it's stress. That's kind of different, right? And after a while, it's going to catch up to you, right? So I have that problem, but I definitely am having issues around my eyes. And I think that's what plays a major, I know that's been playing a major role in my inability to keep up with the paperwork like I used to in the old days, right? I was younger and I had more energy and I had more space, and you know, I had more resources and I had more enthusiasm, and I had, in some ways, I even had more time, you know, because my responsibilities were different and my life was more manageable and was more under control. It's easier to raise smaller children than it is older children. I mean, if you've been a parent, you know, but you have to have a few of them to really understand that, right? Because when they come in multiples, they come at you in multiples, right? So I think for the benefit of our new board director, I'm going to put down, I haven't called an annual general meeting, and for as frivolous as it all sounds, who cares if you have an annual general meeting? Doesn't mean anything in the great grand scheme of things. Tell, you know, go cry your river somewhere else. Well, this is my channel. I'm going to cry this river on this channel, right? And you know, anyway, I haven't called an annual general meeting yet. And I'm actually glad that I haven't, because I didn't think about what I'm talking about right now until like last night today. It never even crossed my mind. I've been so consumed and overwhelmed with what's been going on with Uncle John that it's really hard for me to focus on anything. But I'm trying to rise above it, okay? And I guess that's the point of this video, right? And to give you a heads up or a thumbs up or an idea up or whatever, right? That you know, there is a nonprofit, and that's why this channel exists. And I think the right thing is have a quick conversation with our new board director, see if he's up for it, see if he has anybody in mind, and then let him choose the annual general meeting date, and I'll schedule my timetable around his timetable. And by the time that all happens, that will take a month or two, right? Because, you know, you just can't bum rush the guy. Hey, you know, that's the whole point. You know, I don't want him to feel that he has to contact me every single time that, you know, the registers of companies needs to have a check cut to them for their annual dues. Just like Uncle John made it convenient for Riley, I think our new board director should have somebody to make it convenient for him to do what he needs to do. And then that takes the pressure off of me of the secretarial part of the nonprofit, which I desperately need, people, because doing any amount of paperwork for any length of time really just, it's very draining on me. It really is. Especially when I'm dealing with glasses that are either falling off my head because the frames are no good, or they hit the ground and the lens goes flying. God forbid if I can't find the lens, because then I'm really up shit creek without a paddle. I'll be like this. And I've done it. I used to do it. I've done it. Where is it? See, I can't find anything. What the hell? Now I'm looking for my magnifying glass. Where is it? I can't find my bank statements. Can't find my magnifying glass. Hold on. Let me find this magnifying glass. Where is it? Now I'm getting kind of wondering here. Just wait a minute. I'm almost done. Well, I have my little one. Here's a little one. Can you see that? Do you know what it's like to read with glasses and a magnifying glass at the same time? I know there's not that many people out there that do that, but okay, just as a reminder, this is the strange part of my life. I find this to be very strange. Can you see that? Just imagine it being money. That's my money, people. Bling. Can you see that? They're real. Don't you find that strange? So anyway, I'm working on it. Okay. Okay, now I'm gonna upload this.